Hey everyone. I've heard from quite a few people something to the effect of them being a little bit worried because they can't find any evidence of eternal life mentioned in the Tanakh or the Old Testament. But is this true? Let's check it out. Shalom everybody, and welcome to Beit Tefillah. As more and more people are digging in the Word for clarification on different matters, many have said that they really haven't seen much proof of eternal life in the Tanakh. Well, we know from history the Sadducees held the belief that there was no life after death, and therefore no punishment for sin after death, that this life was just all you got. This was your one shot, and after that there was nothing. But the Pharisees believed in an afterlife or an eternal life. Their beliefs were that people would be resurrected to their reward or to their punishment for however you performed, however you did in this life, okay, whatever your behavior was like in this world. I think one of the reasons that there's this huge disconnect and why people are worried about it mostly is there is a lot of talk in the New Testament about, oh, there's heaven and there's hell, and then in the Old Testament they talk about deliverance and things like that. But you've got this big separation because modern religion constantly pushes, oh, if you're worthy and you put all your faith in Jesus and let him do everything for you and you don't have to do anything, then you're going to float up to heaven and you're going to be by the pearly gates and get let in and sit on a cloud and you're just going to be in paradise up there forever. But if you're not, then you're going to go down to hell and you're just going to burn in flames forever and ever and ever. That is so ridiculous. The reality of what eternal life is nothing like the modern church teaches it. Not at all. This is easily proven, and I did a video on this last year. It's an older video of mine, but it's pretty clear and concise of the error of heaven and hell as religion makes it out to be. It's entitled, Eternal Life is Not Like the Church Teaches, and I'm going to put a link to that video in the description below for those who have not seen it yet. Please watch it. It's a very popular video. It opened up a lot of people's eyes about what eternal life is really like, okay? It's true that the descriptions of eternal life are fairly scarce in the Tanakh, and it doesn't really talk about the next life, okay? But there's a lot of references to us being brought back up for the next life, so that's what we're going to explore today. Since the remnant of Elohim is going to be put back on this earth and not spend an eternity in heaven sitting on a cloud or burning in hell forever for those who don't make it, it looks quite a bit different than what's presented in the New Testament. So let's read a little bit from the Tanakh and let's see what we can find. This isn't everything, this is just some things, okay? We're going to start with some verses from the book of Psalms. Psalm 16:10, For you do not leave my being in the grave, neither let your set apart see the pit. Psalm 17:15, As for me, let me see your face in righteousness. I am satisfied to see your appearance when I awake. Psalm 49:14-15, Like sheep they shall be laid in the grave. Death shall shepherd them, and the upright rule over them in the morning. And their form is consumed in the grave, far from their dwelling. But Elohim does redeem my being from the power of the grave, for he does receive me, Selah. Psalm 71:18-20, And also when I am old and gray, O Elohim, do not forsake me until I declare your strength to a generation, your might to all those who are to come. For your righteous, O Elohim, is most high. You have done great deeds. O Elohim, who is like you? You have shown me great and evil distresses. Revive me again and bring me up again from the depths of the earth. And we also have this in Proverbs 14:32. By his own evil doing, the wrong is thrust down, but the righteous has a refuge in his death. Let's think about that for a minute. How could you have a refuge in death unless you were going to be brought back up from death and have something special going on when the wicked would not? How could death be a refuge? Let's read a couple sections from the book of Daniel. Daniel 7:18, Then the set-apart ones of the Most High shall receive the rain and possess the rain forever, even forever and ever. So that's kind of like the Hebrew Ha'olam, forever, for all eternity. It's just not like you're just going to possess it for a little while and then you're going to die and then that's the end of you. No, you're going to possess it forever, even forever and ever. So he's making that point, okay? Let's read Daniel 12:1, where it's even more clear. Now at that time Michael shall stand up, the great head who is standing over the sons of your people, and there shall be a time of distress, such as never was since there was a nation until that time. And at that time your people shall be delivered, every one who is found written in the book. And many of those who sleep in the dust of the earth wake up, some to everlasting life, and some to reproaches and everlasting abhorrence. And those who have insight shall shine like the brightness of the expanse, and those who lead many to righteousness like the stars forever and ever. But you, Daniel, hide the words and seal the book until the time of the end. Many shall diligently search, and knowledge shall increase. Now, I think the King James Bible says, many shall run to and fro. And so some people interpret this and say, see, we got airplanes, we got buses and automobiles, and people are running to and fro all over the place. That's not what it says. This is the correct interpretation. Many shall diligently search, and knowledge shall be increased. Why is knowledge increasing? Because people are diligently searching for it, okay? Daniel 12:13. But you go your way till the end, and rest, and arise to your lot at the end of days. And the prophet Isaiah writes in Isaiah 25:8-9, He shall swallow up death forever, and the Master Yahuwah shall wipe away the tears from all faces, and shall take away the reproach of his people from all the earth. For Yahuwah has spoken. And it shall be said in that day, See, this is our Elohim. We have waited for him, and he saves us. This is Yahuwah, we have waited for him. Let us be glad and rejoice in his deliverance. Another one from Isaiah, Isaiah 26:19. Let your dead live, together with my dead body, let them arise. Awake and sing, you who dwell in the dust, for your dew is a dew of light, and let the earth give birth to the departed spirits. You know, when Elohim created Adam, he made him from the dust of the earth. He brought him up from the dust of the earth, and he breathed into his nostrils the breath of life. And he's going to do the same thing at the end of time with all those who are his people that sleep in the dust of the earth. He's going to bring all that dust together, and the breath is going to come in us, and we're going to get up on our feet, and it's going to be like a big army, because the same thing's going to happen again. And what a day that's going to be. That's going to be just a beautiful event when he brings us into life, just like he did to Adam. See what Job has to say in Job 14:12-13. And man shall lie down and not rise. Till the heavens are no more, they awake not, nor are aroused from their sleep. If only you would hide me in the grave, conceal me until your wrath turns away. Set me a time, and remember me. Doesn't sound to me like Job is afraid of dying and being forgotten. So by those two verses, we can see when the heavens and earth are no more, and when Elohim's wrath turns away, those who belong to Elohim shall be aroused, brought up from the dust again, and rise. As clear as can be, Ezekiel writes in Ezekiel 37:12-14. Thus said the Master Yahuwah, See, O my people, I am opening your graves, and shall bring you up from your graves, and shall bring you into the land of Yisrael. And you shall know that I am Yahuwah when I open your graves, O my people, and bring you up from your graves. And I shall put my spirit in you, and you shall live. And I shall settle you in your own land, and you shall know that I, Yahuwah, have spoken, and I have done it, declares Yahuwah. Now let's hear from Hosea, as he writes in Hosea 13:14. From the power of the grave I ransom them, from death I redeem them. Where is your plague, O death? Where is your destruction, O grave? Now let's switch gears a little bit and just take a look at something else real quick. Let's read Deuteronomy 31:16. Yahuwah said to Moses, See, you are about to sleep with your fathers. Well, that doesn't sound very scary if you're, just going to go to sleep, right? And sleep in scriptures is from Strong's H7901, the Hebrew shakab. It's a primitive root to lie down for rest, to lay self down, to make to lie down to sleep, still take rest or sleep. Nowhere is that word's mean to cease to exist or to be gone forever. No. You go sleep with your fathers. You're going to go sleep with your people, and you're going to wait on Elohim to bring you up from the dust of the earth. But is there anything else? Well, Hebrew idioms, people need to understand Hebrew idioms, and they need to take them for what they really mean. Some people don't understand what they mean. And we have to look at the idioms in there too, because they also tell a story. I'm sure we've all heard the scriptural expression, cut off from among your people. Let's read a few examples. Exodus 31:14. And you shall guard the Sabbath, for it is set apart to you. Everyone who profanes it shall certainly be put to death, for anyone who does work on it, that being shall be cut off from among his people. Now this next verse is pertaining to Yom Kippur, or the Day of Atonement. Leviticus 23:29. For any being who is not afflicted on that same day, he shall be cut off from his people. Let's read one more from Numbers 19:13. Anyone who touches the dead of a human being and does not cleanse himself, he defiles the dwelling place of Yahuwah, and that being shall be cut off from Yisrael. So let me ask you this. What if you worked inside your house on the Sabbath? Say if you lived there by yourself. Say, we're either talking way back in time for when the children of Israel were all dwelling in tents, or even today. Say if you were working inside your house and you weren't married, you didn't have any kids, you lived alone, and nobody was there to see you. Let's say the same thing for Yom Kippur. Instead of being brought low and afflicted on that day, you were dancing. You were having a party all by yourself. Nobody to see you, to cut you off from your people. What if you touch a dead body and you didn't wash yourself and nobody saw you? Well, Elohim knows. Elohim is the one who judges. And if he is going to cut you off from the people Yisrael, just like we were told in Numbers 19:13, you're cut off from that saved group of people at the end of time, who are going to be brought up from the dust of the earth. There's Yisrael and there's everybody else. Okay? Elohim knows. Okay? If they are cut off from Israel, they are no longer in covenant, and they're no longer eligible to be raised from the ground. They're no longer eligible for the promise of eternal life. So to summarize this video up, there's clearly quite a few places in the Tanakh that speak of Elohim's people rising from the grave or rising from the dust of the earth. And it's a sharp contrast, as we talked about earlier, that's in the New Testament of everybody floating up to heaven or going down to hell and just cooking for eternity. That's not scriptural. Please watch that video I did if you haven't seen it yet, because that is just, it's good. It's good. I go through all the different steps and exactly why people believe that, and it does not line up. The church is just so totally wrong on so many things, but this one, they're completely wrong, okay? So, we can see signs in the Tanakh that we're going to be brought up. It just doesn't talk a lot about the next life. We are told the meek inherit what? Heaven? No, we are told the meek inherit the earth. We're going to be brought back to the earth. In John's vision in Revelation, where he saw that set-apart city coming down, that holy city with the 12 gates, with all the names of the 12 tribes of the children of Israel on it, which is a clue that only if you're Israel are you going to get in that city. The city does what? It comes down and it sits on the earth. It doesn't stay up there in heaven, because we are going to be put back on this earth. That's the plan. There's not going up to heaven and sitting on a cloud like modern religion teaches. That's bunk, okay? That's not what's going to happen. We need to get rid of all this Christian doctrine and all this religion dogma so we can see the truth. Because it's not based on feelings. Oh, I think Grandma's in heaven smiling at me now. No, she's not. Grandma's dead laying in a box in the ground waiting a judgment. It's not based on our feelings. It's based on the Word. It's based on truth. That's what we should be believing, is what the Word says, what Elohim told us. That's what we're to believe, and that's what we're to do. If he says do it, we're to do it. If he says don't do it, don't do it. It's real simple. The Torah and the Tanakh is about coming into covenant in this life. And personally, I don't think there's a whole lot about the next life, because we don't know what's going to happen in the next life. We know we're going to be put back on this earth. But we are given the instruction, and our focus and our goal, our mission, and the importance is making it to the next life. Coming into covenant with Elohim, doing what he said in this life so we can make it to the next life. Okay? The whole point is making it there. The only test we are going to get in this life is if we obey the Torah or if we do not. Those who obey the Torah and come into covenant are Yisrael. They're the saved group. They're the only ones who have eternal life. Because if people were burning in hell forever and ever and ever, they would still have eternal life burning in hell forever and ever and ever. So we know that's garbage. That doesn't happen. They're just destroyed. End of story. The only people who get eternal life are the people known as Yisrael, who are in covenant with Elohim. They're going to be put back on this earth, and they get to live forever. All of us live forever for those who are in covenant and obey our Elohim. So I hope this video answered some questions. I've had quite a few requests from people who have come out of the churches, and now that they're walking in Torah and they're doing what they should be, they're questioning all things, all the doctrine and all the dogma and all the tradition that they've been hearing for their whole lives, and now they're starting to make sure that what they're reading and understanding in the New Testament, it matches the Old Testament, the Torah specifically, because that's our standard. We're supposed to test everything by that word. And they've been hearing all about heaven and hell and all this, and that's the main goal, is to making it to heaven. And then when they start reading in the Torah and the Tanakh, and they're like, we're not seeing a whole lot of that in there. Well, that's because all the dogma and tradition has it so overblown and it's so wrong in the churches. That's not how it is. We just read all these verses where Elohim is not going to forget his people who sleep in the dust of the earth. There's going to be no victory in the grave. We're going to be brought up and remembered and put back in the land. We're just not told a lot about what happens next. But I imagine it's going to be so incredible to be walking in the garden with Elohim just like Adam was, that I'm sure whatever happens next will be beautiful and it'll be wonderful. So our goal is making it there. So let's make it there. Okay? So thanks to everyone who has subbed to this channel. If you haven't done so, please do so, because we sure appreciate it. That's how you support us. Thanks to everyone who leaves comments and who gives us likes and thumbs up. Sure appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Shout out to everybody scattered worldwide in the dispersion, everyone who's in covenant, and our brothers and sisters all around the world. Shalom from all of us here at Beit Tefillah Productions. Everybody be blessed and have a wonderful day.